Narcissistic parents will get upset with their children if their children are not picking their sides and expect their children to pick sides in family dynamics. She had an issue with her middle daughter picking her oldest daughter over her. And she told her, one of these days, I'm going to make you pick who you want to be with. That is narcissistic one-on-one, because that's two different relationships. You're a mother and she's my sister. Triangulation at its best. Narcissistic parents are known to triangulate among their children, and they don't like that child for whatever reasons. They will make their children decide on them or taking sides with their siblings. That is narcissistic. There's no rationalization about that. How narcissistic.
Hey guys, I'm back at it with another video. This is my 5 on it. Basically, this video triggered me, y'all. I was just scrolling on TikTok and that video triggered me because it brought back so many memories of like growing up. It definitely was given that my parents would make us choose. One of the earliest memories that I remember of like having to choose between two family members was when me and my brother, we were still young. Ain't no telling how old we was, but we were young. And I remember my mom pulling over in this parking lot. I'm trying to think if I can remember the parking lot. I know it was over there by Franklin Square. She had pulled over in this parking lot and my dad had pulled over. And they was arguing. And my dad got out the car and we were with my mom. And so we all was standing. My dad was drunk, y'all. My dad was drunk like always. Because back then growing up, my dad would always be drunk. Like he would always be drunk. Like every day he would be like pissy drunk. And so, yeah, so we had pulled over in this parking lot. My dad pulled over. They got out the car. They was talking. All I remember was my dad looked at me and my brother and was like, so who y'all want to go with? Me or your mom? Who y'all want to go with? And so me and my brother, we was just standing there and we were looking because we didn't know why they was arguing. We was just children. We was literally just bystanders. Like we didn't know what was going on. And just out of nowhere, my dad was like, so who y'all want to go with? Who y'all want to go with? So me and my brother was just standing there because we was flabbergasted. We didn't know what to say. We didn't know how to answer that question. Like I still remember how overwhelmed I was. We just was quiet, y'all. So by us being quiet, my mom looked at us and told us, y'all come get in the car. So I think we went and got back in the car. And I really felt like my dad probably felt like me and my brother chose my mom over him. But it's like, this the stuff that I be talking about though. This the stuff I be talking about. Because my dad, well, my family in general, they talk the good game. They really talked a good game. Like my dad really talked like he had it all figured out. Like he just knew what he was doing. Y'all, they had kids, they did not know what they was doing because how you gonna make young kids choose between their parents? And then it was so random. We don't even know what's going on. Y'all, like he asked us, so who y'all going with? Like, and then my dad would be drunk. And at a young age, I don't know if my dad thought he was asleep. At a young age, me and my brother knew that my dad was a drunk driver. My dad would, he would drink and drive every day. By the grace of God, he never killed nobody. Obviously, like, I don't know if my dad in that moment thought, like, I don't know if he wanted me and my brother to come to him. But it's like, we knew, like, it was times where my dad probably thought we didn't know how bad of an alcoholic he was. Me and my brother, we knew my dad was an alcoholic. We may not have known the ins and outs of it, like the details or whatever, but we knew that he was an alcoholic because we knew he just would act different. My mama didn't drink alcohol. So we could tell the difference between someone on alcohol and someone not. Like, I don't know. So the fact that my dad talking about some, who y'all gonna go with, me or your mom, and we already was with my mom. We pulled up to the parking lot with my mom. So why would we just, oh no, we want to come with you? And I already told y'all how my dad was acting. My mama was crazy too, and my mama was abusive too. But the difference between the two of them was my mom, she would be somewhat emotionally available. Like she would show us, she would let us in emotionally more than my dad. So we was able to naturally build a closer bond with her just by her being able to express her problems and her issues and stuff to us. Right? My dad was very much like standoffish. My dad would not tell you how he was really feeling. He just felt like he never wanted to share his emotions because he felt like that would make him vulnerable. My dad never wanted to be vulnerable, even around his family, even with his kids. Like, and I feel like it was due to a lot of the stuff that he went through. When they had pulled up and they was arguing, and we had to choose who we was going with, we didn't say nothing. Because it's like, how do you, like, what do you say in that moment? Like, how do you, I don't know, y'all. So in the video that I'm actually talking about is competition within family, but also competition within siblings. When I got older, this is what I really realized when I moved in with my mom. I felt like my brother would play both sides. My brother was the type, he would peep how my mom would treat me. He would even come to me one-on-one and confirm to me that he felt like it was unfair the way my mom was treating me. He felt like it was unfair how hard she was on me. Some of the stuff she would say to me, he felt like it was unfair. Like, we would have these conversations. Remember in My5onit, I told y'all, well, I don't know if it was my last one, but I told y'all in one My5onit that my brother and my mom used to go in my mama's room and with the door closed and be sitting up talking about me and stuff like that, right? And occasionally he would do the same thing with me, except we wouldn't be in the room with the door closed. On my behalf, it wouldn't be nothing sneaky because I didn't feel like I had to sneak. It wasn't like I was saying anything bad about my mom, even though she would have perceived it as bad. But if she perceived what we would say as bad, that just means she's a bad person. And instead of she acknowledges the bad things that she did, she just chops it up to, oh, y'all talking bad about me. And it's like, no, man, we're actually sharing our experiences with you. Like, imagine that. Imagine somebody just speaking on their experience with you and you're listening to everything and you feel like the person calling you a bad person. That means your actions are terrible. And you are a terrible person, actually. Now that I think about it. But only God could judge. But anyway, it would kind of be like the same thing my mom would do with my brother, but it wouldn't really be that. Like, my mom and my brother, ain't no telling what they would be talking about for real, because I wasn't there. But when me and my brother would have deep conversations, it would be healing, y'all. It would be us talking about actual experiences we had. Like, it wouldn't just be us gossiping like, I wonder how my mom got that new chair in her living room. I wonder where she getting the money to afford this place. Like, it was never nothing like that. It would be like one time my brother came to me and was like, yo, remember when mom punched you in your face? Like, I remember one time he literally reminded me of that. And I was talking to my mom about it. This part of the reason, well, I already knew my mom was crazy. But this how I really knew for real, that my mom was crazy. I was telling her, I sat down beside her one day, she was in the living room, I sat down beside her, and I said, Mom, you remember when you had punched me in my face? And she was like, what? Like, she was like, huh, what you mean, da-da-da? And I told her, I said, well, I was about to say his name, I ain't gonna say my brother's name, but I told her, I said, oh, what's the name told me, he reminded me about that time where you had picked me up from school, you punched me in my face. Soon as I said that my brother reminded me of that memory, she cut her eyes down. She said, oh, your brother reminded you of that? Your brother reminded you of that? And cut her eyes at him as if like basically gave him that look like you supposed to be on my side. And it's like, bro, like, that's the disgusting part about it, because she'll look at my older brother and basically communicate to him that he's supposed to be on her side. But man, why did you bring me here? Like, if you was just gonna team up with my sibling, If you was just gonna team up with him to go against me, why the freak would you bring me here? And I feel like that's like a lot of times parents be forgetting that they chose to have children. They like the kids get here and they get to putting all their burdens and their life problems on the kids to the point where they'll genuinely forget, the reason why this child is sitting right here is because I brought this child into this world. The way my family would turn around and treat me, y'all, you would think that I just came on their doorstep one day and knocked on their door and asked them if they could take me in. That's how you would, like the way they would treat me, you would swear that's how I ended up in that family. Like I just came to them like, hey, can I come live with y'all? And they said, yeah. But whole time that's not what happened. Like my mama literally gave birth to me. And it's like if she was just gonna team up with my other sibling to go against me, why didn't she just stop at having my brother? It's so funny. I'm so glad I don't talk to my mom no more because I felt like she would try to blame a lot of her pain and suffrage on me. I felt like she would project a lot of her pain and the stuff that she went through on me. But it's like a lot of that stuff she went through and that gave her her deepest scars, her deepest wounds, I probably wasn't even around for, honestly. So it's like to give birth to a child and to raise them up to a certain age and to have that family turn on them. And you know what it is? My mama, I just feel like mentally, if my mama wasn't going to go to extensive therapy and go see by herself, she should have never had kids. Her reasoning for having a family and having children was to fulfill something personal in her. She felt like that was going to give her some type of validation, and it didn't. And that's why she ended up so bitter and with nothing in the end, because she had the wrong intentions to begin with. My mama only knew my dad for, I think, 4 to 6 months. They didn't even know each other for a whole year before they got married. My mama was very much opportunist. My dad was an opportunist. And they ended up having children. But it's like for my mama to have them kids and to turn her kids against one another and not care, the only way she could do that is because she operating through trauma. My mother was the only sibling. I think my grandma only had my mom. So my mom didn't grow up with no siblings. That was one thing she would talk about a lot, and I could tell that still hurt her feelings to that day. Another thing that she would talk about was she didn't have her dad in her life the way she wanted to. Now, the story I remember is that one day my grandma came and picked her up from her daddy house and just never took her back. Now, don't quote me on that. I don't know, but that is like a variation of the story that I heard growing up. And if that was the case, that is very unfortunate. And I love my grandma down, but if that's what my grandma did, well, I don't know, because maybe, I don't know if her dad was doing something to her. I don't know. I don't know why my grandma did that. If she did do that, allegedly, I don't know. But I just feel like my mama didn't have a life. Like growing up, I felt like a lot of people was unfair to my mom. I felt like a lot of people wanted my mama to be alone. A lot of my mom's family members left her alone and by herself to fend for herself. But one thing I didn't get was if my mama met my dad and they ended up getting married and get to a point where they started having children and stuff, then that means all that negativity that my family did on my mother's side to try to keep my mother down, that didn't work. Whatever weapons tried to be prospered against my mother failed. They did not prosper. So with all that being said, I know for a fact when my mother was growing up, it was definitely people that didn't want my mama to get married. It was people that didn't want my mama to have a good life. It was people that didn't want to see my mama make it out of poverty. My mama did all those things. Well, I don't know if she out of poverty now. I don't know. But I know when she was with my dad, we wasn't in poverty. My dad had put a mortgage down on the house. My dad was paying the bills of the house. My mama she was able to get with a provider man. She also got with a man that was there for his children at a certain point. But at a certain point, my mama's life seemed like it was actually good. Like, I'm pretty sure those same family members that used to try to keep my mama down when she was younger, if they were to see my mama, like, living how she was living when I was growing up, They would be very jealous. They would feel very powerless because they would know all those attacks they tried to put against my mama didn't work. Y'all, that is the same thing that's happening to me. So the fact that my mom would know what she went through growing up, seeing all those people that try to go against her and it didn't work, it failed. Why in the hell? Why in the hell would my mama think that those same attacks that the people tried to put on her while she was coming up when she was my age, why would she think that those will work on me and they didn't even work on her? My mama tried to do some of them same tactics that people tried to do on her growing up that did not work. They did not work on my mom. So my mom is she has a living testimony of her family singling her out, trying to go against her, like triangulating everybody to go against her, spreading bad rumors, lying on her. That same thing happened to my mom. And you mean to tell me instead of she realized like, hey, all those people didn't want me to get married. All those people didn't want me to live a certain life. And I still got to live that type of life. Let me not try to use those same tactics on my daughter because those tactics didn't even work on me. So why would it work on my daughter? My mom thought she was bigger than the program. How does God bless you by not allowing your family's attacks to prosper, and you basically you make your own family in them same freaking attacks you try to use on one of your family members that you created? Now you sitting up somewhere stupid like, dang, like why didn't it work? Why did all that stuff I do to her didn't work? That's what your family member said about you. When they found out you got married, when they found out you had kids, when they found out your man was able to get a mortgage now and all that stuff, they said that same stuff about you. They said, dang, I ain't never want her to get married. Dang, I didn't want her to make it out of poverty. And she did. So why in the freak did she really think that's that lame witchcraft stuff? Because really that's what it is, witchcraft. Some people think that the only way you could do witchcraft is if you got some candles and you doing chants. Witchcraft is just energy manipulation. Just by me sitting up here talking to y'all, say if I start convincing y'all that the sky is green and I'm knowing it's not. But say if I convince y'all the sky is green to the point where you get up out wherever you at. You get up from where you at to go look outside to see if the sky green. That's manipulation. I just did witchcraft on you. You could do witchcraft through your words. That's why, like, when you spell out words, it's called spelling. Spelling is also spells. Spells is also used in witchcraft. And that's the part that tripped me out bad because it's like God had grace for my mom. God did not allow those attacks that my mama family was doing towards her to prosper. So it's like the fact that my mama got to a certain age where it's like she became bitter and she wanted to invoke that same type of pain that she went through onto me. The fact that she genuinely thought that was going to work in her favor and she sat back and watched that not work in her other family members' favor, that's what blow my mind. That's what blow my mind. Because obviously her own family members at one point thought they were bigger than the program and had to find out that they wasn't. So now the next generation, which is my mom, she came up. She thought she was bigger than the program. And then now she had to find out she wasn't. It's just sad because it's like, if my mom knew what she went through growing up of being the only child and being like, because when my grandma passed away, my mama said that her family started acting funny with her. Like I said, I don't know. I don't want to tell her story wrong. I'm not going to go into detail. But it was a lot of stuff that my mama went through. And it's like, for her to go through that stuff and that stuff not break her, and she not know that, okay, boom, like when you have good intentions, when you keep going, no weapon formed against you shall prosper. The fact that she didn't pick that up on me and she thought that them same attacks that didn't work on her was going to work on me, a fool. A fool. Because it's like, how does that make any sense? So when it came down to it, I just felt like my mom, like when we all got by ourselves, when it was just the three of us, my mom, my brother, and me, I really felt like my mom wanted my brother to go against me. Now, the reason she wanted my brother to go against me was because she was always jealous of me and my brother's relationship. She was always jealous because she didn't have no siblings. She didn't grow up with no siblings. So it'll be times that I see my mama watching me and my brother and she'll have that look on her face like, wow, like I wish I had that growing up or whatever. But I wouldn't pay it no mind because that's the life that my mama gave me and my brother. I never thought in a million years she'd turn around and try to strip away the same life that she gave us intentionally. Like, you feel what I'm saying? Like, so I just felt like my mama peeped that my brother was like not a weaker spirit, but my brother, I felt like my mama knew that my brother was more like her spiritually. And it was times she'll say that, but she'll say that about his hair, like, oh, he got my texture hair, or he this, or he that, or he looked more like me. He got my dimples, he got my gap. It's like that, but also spiritually, I felt like my brother was like my mom because my mom is an opportunist and my brother is now an opportunist as well. And my mama would have never got me to go against my brother, and I think that's what she knew. My mama couldn't come to me and tell me, oh, come in my room. I'm thinking about kicking your brother out. My mama would have never got me to back her up by that. And that's why she tried to make me out to be this terrible person. She had to make me out to be a liar because she knew that I was going to be the one to expose it. She knew that I would, like, honestly, right after my mama had that conversation, I would have went to my brother and told him, like, bruh, I don't know, you need to find out how to get you a crib, or you need to do this, you need to do that, because mom talking about kicking you out. I would have been on my brother's side, but I would have been there for my mama too. I wouldn't have allowed her to sit and talk bad about my brother with me, but I would have been there for her, and I would have been there for my brother. My mama did not want that. My mama wanted my brother to be on her side, and it's like they wanted to go against me. And once again, that, like, for the longest, I felt like I battled with that, but now I find peace with that because it's like, do you know how cold, like, not even cold, do you know how important of a person you gotta be for your mom to turn your sibling against you? Do you know how much of a threat you gotta be without even trying? Because I wasn't trying to be a threat. For the longest, I didn't know why my parents were acting the way they was towards me. They was acting like that because they felt like I was a threat to them. And it's not because I showed up in a room as the biggest and the baddest. It was because I showed up in a room as, like, the most honest and the purest. And that's why they kept trying to call me a liar. Yeah, I did lie to them on occasions because they would lie to me and my brother. So it's like, yeah, I'm going to lie to you. Like, you be lying to me. But at the end, they knew. I feel like my mama knew I would have never went against my brother for her. Because I trusted my brother. Back then, I trusted my brother more than her because I would see how my mama would move. Like, my mama would do certain stuff that even as a young person, I would, like, kind of question, like, like, I would honestly question, like, how did my mom have the heart to do certain things? And when I say the heart, like, for instance, like how she kicked me out, right? You got to have a certain type of spirit for you to kick your daughter out and know and be confident that she doesn't really have nowhere to go. You got to have some type of hatred. You got to have some type of darkness within you to be able to kick your daughter out with nowhere to go, not check on her, not call, wait by the phone for her to maybe call you in need of help again or something. And then the girl that you kicked out, your daughter, she come and tell you she got her own place. And instead of you be happy, that actually messes up your day. That makes you feel some type of way. Like, my mama had some type of darkness within her. And it's like, I didn't have that same type of darkness. I may have dark traits about me, but I don't have no darkness that lives within me. So that's why I wouldn't have been able to come against my brother, because I wouldn't see no reasons for that. Why would I team up with my mama to go against my brother, and my mama ain't supposed to be trying to team up with neither one of us? That's a red flag. And one thing about it, I felt like my mama knew eventually I would have been the one to call her out. If she would have tried to get me involved in going against my brother, eventually I definitely would have called her out. And that's what my mama can't stand. My mama do not like nobody call her out. That jump make her feel so uncomfortable. She hates it. She genuinely hates to be called out. And so that's why she felt like my brother was the perfect opportunist to have on her side and to have on her team. I wouldn't have had the heart to go against my brother. Not for no reason. Now, if he did something to me, or if he was being nasty, if he was out here raping people or something, then, I'll hold him accountable. But I wouldn't have had a heart to go against my brother just because my mama in my ear talking bad about him. If anything, I would have looked at my mama like, dang, this your kid, this how you raised him, and this how you sitting up talking about him. My brother wasn't the type to question stuff. When it came to my mom, he wanted my mama's validation. He wanted my mama to look at him like, oh, this my baby. Like, oh, this my favorite son. Like, my brother, he has this complex. He wants to be the best in the room. But it's like, unfortunately, you're not going to be the best in every room you step in. And plus, if you're constantly stepping in the rooms and you're the smartest in the room, you're in the wrong room. My brother likes to be the smartest in the room. So he wasn't going to go and question my mom. If anything, he probably felt inferior to me as well. And so that's why he wanted to team up with my mom to go against me, because he thought that he was going to get a good outcome too. Neither one of them got no good outcome, because you ain't supposed to sit up and go against no family member. And this how I know. Now, if I was the type to be being mean to them and be stealing from them and doing all kinds of bad things to them behind closed doors, God wouldn't have blessed me. I'd still be on the streets right now, or I would still be up under my parents right now if I had bad intentions. But the fact that I didn't have bad intentions, that's why I could go about my business and not have to worry about them, because they went against me when they shouldn't have. That's crazy, y'all. Like, I kid you not, I ain't gonna say you ain't experienced nothing until you had a mama go against you or a dad, but y'all, that's a different type of feeling. That's a different type of op stuff for your own family. The ones that chose to bring you in this world go against you and act like you a nobody to them. Like, But that's it for this story, y'all. That was my 5 on it. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'm gonna see you in my next video.